Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video, and today we are taking a look at possibly the biggest crypto wipeout in history. Now, I know I've started my videos, at least 3 of them, in the last year with this sentence, but this is truly the one to dethrone all of them. $152 billion literally disappeared overnight due to a single person. This person single-handedly caused 15 of the biggest cryptocurrencies to lose this accumulated value literally overnight. Now, I don't normally ask people to stick around to the end of the video, but please, I beg you, the story that has unfolded around this whole FTX nonsense has got to a point where the unfoldings at the end of this video are just downright ridiculous and act as the self-served karma that we need in the crypto industry right now. Now, this man that I just showed you is Sam Bankman-Fried. He is the owner of a company called FTX, which is the owning company of a crypto token called FTT. This is going to be very important later. On November 6th, FTT lost 80% of its market value in just 24 hours. So let's talk about how this unfolded and all went tits up in the first place. Touted by the crypto bros as a strong and unkillable force to be reckoned with. The fucking genius behind all of this is Sam Bankman-Fried. He goes by SBF on Twitter and other socials though. Now, to let you guys know just how stupid the crypto bros are, this guy has a clip of him from a couple of years ago quite literally admitting that the entire thing is a Ponzi scheme, and the crypto bros took it as some sort of secret handshake that, haha, yes, it's a big joke, let's all get behind this nonsense.
Let me give you sort of like a toy model of it, which I actually think has a surprising amount of legitimacy for what farming could mean. You know, where do you start? You start with a company that builds a box. And in practice, this box, they probably dress it up to look like a life-changing, world-altering protocol that's going to replace all the big banks in 38 days or whatever. Maybe for now actually ignore what it does or pretend it does literally nothing. It's just a box thing. But I acknowledge that it's not totally clear that this thing should have market cap. But empirically, I claim it would have market cap.
I agree.
It shouldn't have any market cap in theory, but in practice they always do. Okay.
That's right. So, and obviously already we're sort of hiding some of the magic in that, right? Like some of the magic is in like how to get that market cap to start with, but whatever. We're going to move on from that for a second. So,
honestly, if that isn't enough, and by the way, this was quite a widely publicized clip, if that isn't enough to give you the major red flags to stop you going forward with this, oh my god, I don't know how to help you people. In 2017, Sam founded a company called Alameda Research, and in 2019, he started the company we're covering in this video, FTX, a public exchange for trading, buying, and selling crypto. Now, a spicy side note here, both of these companies were owned by Sam Bankman-Fried, and he was the majority shareholder in both of them, which brought up a lot of red flags for regulators and literally anyone with 2 brain cells bouncing around up there. Obviously, this excludes the crypto bros who were just wondering how Sam could help them get a quick bag and didn't really care or think about the long-term or the longevity of the 2 companies in which they were investing. Now, in response to all this criticism and with all eyes on Sam, Sam clarified that these 2 companies were indeed completely separate entities and were treated as such. Brilliant. That was just the clarification we needed, Sam. Thank you. By the start of the current year, 2022, FTX was the 4th biggest crypto exchange in the world, which is absolutely insane when you consider that it had started less than 3 years ago and has somehow climbed the ranks into the top 5. Up there with the likes of Binance, Crypto.com, and whoever the fuck the others are. This went, in the span of 3 years, from an absolute nobody claiming to be a crypto bro to one of the biggest exchanges in the top 5. That's pretty absurd. The company bombarded social media for an entire year with some of the dumbest ads I have ever seen, claiming that if you're not getting into crypto, you're an old sack of decrepit meat just waiting to be sacrificed to the furnace that is capitalism.
Like I was saying, it's FTX. It's a safe and easy way to get into crypto.
I don't think so. And I'm never wrong about this stuff. Never. Franklin!
Following this, the biggest crypto exchange in the world, Binance, decided to invest in FTX. If you can't beat them, join them, right? And with that, the match had truly been thrown onto the gasoline. This was basically the doggy-style sign of submission from the #1 crypto platform that FTX was well on its way to the top, and they were fully willing to back them in doing so. A month later, FTX would be considered an actual rival to Binance, causing the platform to take flight and gain millions of users with it, along with an incredible price hike in their token due to demand. Now it's time for the typical anime arc, the savior that nobody wanted, yet everybody got. He began bailing out failing crypto companies with $1 billion, give or take a few million. Now, we jump forward to November the 2nd, where CoinDesk, one of the biggest media spots for crypto, published an article based entirely off Alameda balance sheets reportedly leaked by one of their employees at the time. Well, on this sheet, Alameda were claiming to have $14 billion in assets around the end of June. Now, the part where this gets really funny is the fact that $10 billion of those dollars were attributed to FTT tokens that they were holding. Now, let's not forget, FTT is owned by FTX, the secondary company that is an entirely separate entity according to Sam, yet also owned by the same majority shareholders as Alameda, the other company that Sam owned majority stakes in. Christ, if you're not already seeing where this is going, well, buckle up, because you're about to. So at this point, Sam has essentially inflated Alameda's total balance sheet by taking the cryptocurrency from FTX, FTT, and passing it over to Alameda. Now, this is wrong on so many levels because this is falsely inflating the value of a company that basically stays afloat on user investment. And if it's not staying afloat on its own based off of that user investment, well, things are about to go bad quite quickly. Following this revelation that was astounding to nobody but the crypto investors, the largest holders on the FTX trading platform started to withdraw their crypto assets in all forms of Bitcoin, Doge, Ethereum, and their own FTT tokens, in absolute masses, causing the liquidity of FTX to plummet. And for those who don't know what liquidity is, it's basically the ability to pay out everything if everybody wanted to withdraw all at once. And if this wasn't already bad enough, on the 6th of November, Binance, the exchange that heavily invested in FTX, decided to liquidate all their FTT tokens as they obviously saw the writing on the wall. This caused what we refer to as a death spiral. People withdraw/sell a coin in masses, causing its value to go down and therefore causing more people to sell and cut their losses before it goes down lower, and so on, so forth. It's a self-repeating process and it's very hard to stop. It's essentially a big loss in faith in the cryptocurrency, and by extension, FTX. And with the recent revelation that FTX doesn't have the liquidity to pay out all of these withdrawals and sell requests, well, it's about to get a lot worse from here. On the same day that this kicked off, FTX had apparently processed $4 billion in sell and withdrawal requests. Oh dear. Now, of this $4 billion that was pending for withdrawal, well, there we go. A lot of them were still left pending and incomplete overnight, which caused the sequel to this hilarious situation. Death Spiral 2, Crypto Boogaloo. On the 7th of November, only a day later, the amount of withdrawals was sitting at $6 billion, with many sitting as not completed. On the 8th, only 2 days after this disaster really kicked off, Binance stepped up to the podium and said they were going to buy out FTX and become the second crypto legend that nobody asked for. However, during the buyout, the company is expected to share its full financial data, and lo and behold, on the 9th, Binance mysteriously decided that they were not going to buy FTX due to mishandled funds, further backing up the previous balance sheet leaks. On the 10th, Wall Street Journal posted an article from a whistleblower claiming that apparently FTX had been mishandling people's funds and using them to hedge risky bets on trading platforms, as well as placing bets between their own two sites to gain the illusion of higher wealth between both companies. Now, this next bit is something that I have not seen covered anywhere, on YouTube at least, and this is about an interview that Sam gave quite a while back, where he explained how he got the funds to start both these companies. And apparently, the way he did this was he noticed that the price of Bitcoin on one exchange in America had $1,000 difference from an exchange in Japan, and thus made millions of dollars trading back and forth Bitcoin between both of these exchanges at the best price possible, passing it out to a wallet back into the American exchange and selling it off to the Japanese exchange. To me, this seems like the start of an idea, a little brain spark to start two exchanges, falsely inflate the values of cryptocurrencies, and trade back and forth between the two to continue that cycle. As he owns both exchanges, he's essentially made some sort of crypto vacuum that just keeps growing and growing. Following all of this, the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Department of Justice are launching a full-on investigation into not only FTX, but Sam himself. Sam went on to tell all his investors that he couldn't pay out to them via withdrawals as their FTT token was dropping drastically in price and it would be unwise to liquidate and sell at the current price. The following day, Sam Bankman-Fried resigned as CEO in both companies. Also, FTX and Alameda have filed for bankruptcy. And as expected, the next day doesn't get any better at all. Sam claimed that FTX had been hacked and that they were investigating it. This hack was for $370 million. This statement was only made after a crypto analytics firm called Elliptic pointed out that $370 million in funds were missing from the FTX holding wallets, despite the fact that all funds had been frozen due to a Class 11 bankruptcy. Something doesn't seem right here. On the 11th of November this month, this stands to be the biggest crypto bankruptcy filing ever made in history. As other crypto exchanges with their own currencies, their own cryptocurrencies, announced that they were cutting ties with FTT token, many of their own tokens fell in value too, leading to a total loss of $152 billion, yes, billion with a B, dollars in just over 24 hours. Now, this is where I would like to say that the story ends. A nice, well-rounded story of misused funds followed by bankruptcy, along with crypto bros getting their long overdue karma. But no, of course there's more. Following on the day after FTX filed for bankruptcy, FTX claimed that the company had been ordered by the Bahama regulators to withdraw funds from the company to pay off investors in that country while they left withdrawals paused for everybody else. Only for the god-tier anime plot twist to kick in, where the Bahamas Regulatory Board responded and claiming they had never asked FTX to do this, literally outing them as liars that were just pulling funds to ditch and run. Which is further supported by the fact that that very same day, Sam Bankman-Fried had his private jet tracked on a flight to Argentina that had him on it.
I don't know what all of these places have in common. No extradition.
You literally cannot make this up. And just to add hilarity to this whole situation, the flight took Sam from Nassau in the Bahamas, which is literally the home of piracy. Hey, Future Callum here. This was actually supposed to be where I do the outro to my video and everything, but this story is unfolding not only day by day, but hour by hour. And to really just kick things off, it's gone downhill again. Now, this will be the last addition to this video before I have to just say the video needs to go out, otherwise it will never go out if I keep adding on the day by day and hour by hour developments of this, because it's getting to the point of ridiculous right now. So, to follow on from all of this, there have been further developments. After I had finished recording that, it was discovered that apparently FTX had donated $4 billion to the Biden administration. Apparently Sam Bankman-Fried has ties to a family member who is very, very entrenched in politics. And this is in an attempt, in their own words, to get themselves to be essentially the head of the regulatory board that would be formed for cryptocurrency and the regulations around that. So this just goes to show that this was not only about to be a disaster, well, I mean, it's already a disaster, but this was about to be an even bigger disaster. And I think this specifically requires its own video, because this isn't merely speculation. In fact, Upper Echelon Games has done a fantastic video specifically on the Biden administration donations. Oh my god, there's just so much to unpack here that this shitty little grift wasn't just a little grift. This was something much bigger, that was about to implode, and it's imploded prematurely, fortunately. But on top of that, there's been further developments with bankruptcy. So, two companies, a crypto company called Salt that has its own cryptocurrency also called Salt, and Crypto.com have both halted withdrawals from their sites, which is kind of odd if you ask me, because that is essentially admitting that they are in the same liquidity crisis where they can't afford to pay everyone out. Now, they're exchanges, so if they're exchanges and they can't afford to pay out the people on their exchanges, doesn't that really just paint a picture that they're doing the same sort of dodgy stuff in the background? Now, they're claiming they're not, but everything they're doing screams that they are, because there's no reason they shouldn't be able to pay out all their customers. Oh my god, I don't know what to say. This is something much bigger than just FTX and FTT. And then on top of that, BlockFi, a company that was previously bailed out, as mentioned in the earlier part of this video, when they put over $1 billion into bailing out crypto companies that were failing. Well, BlockFi was one of them. FTX bailed them out of not sure what, some sort of bankruptcy, and they're now preparing to file for bankruptcy once again, because Big Daddy FTX is gone and no longer giving them pocket money. This whole thing, to me, is just utterly astounding. The fact that a single person, as mentioned at the start of the video, has caused such a collapse of 152 or 153 billion, depending who you ask. Apparently the figure is now much higher by time of this recording. It's insanity. It's unfathomable how much money has just been poured down the drain as a result of this. And if the rumors are to be believed, there are about 5 or 6 other cryptocurrencies that are currently about to file for bankruptcy. Now, these are rumors, so I'm not going to cover them until that is, confirmed and true. But the only reason I mentioned BlockFi is because they themselves came out stating that they are preparing to file for bankruptcy. So this previously mentioned death spiral is now starting to seed itself on every other exchange. And again, rumor has it that Binance is about to feel the crunch as well. This is the karma that the crypto industry needed, and I'm kind of glad it happened. I truly do feel for the innocent people that have lost their life savings because of this. But at the end of the day, you should always be doing your own research with anything financial, and these people clearly haven't. They've seen it as an easy way out of financial problems that they have, and they've just dumped the rest of their savings into this, and now they are infinitely worse off. I personally know someone who put 16,000 into FTX and some of the other platforms and cryptos that fell through as a result of all this, and their total standing is now at about 2,500, and it's still going down. Anyway, ladies and gents, a massive thank you for watching this video, and as always, a massive thank you to the patrons for allowing me to make videos that are more in-depth and more edited than usual. I really couldn't do it without you. If you guys want to support me, please click the link in the description for the Patreon. It really does help. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care.